I'm reviewing Anchorman today. It's kind of a big deal. Yeah, that's a little bit of an Anchorman quote right there at the beginning. But what's up, everyone? So today we're only a few days away from Anchorman 2, which is a movie I'm like really looking forward to seeing. I think it's like one of my last anticipated movies of the year, and I figured that I should review one of my favorite, not just one of my favorite comedies of all time, but also one of my favorite movies of all time, Anchorman 1, Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy. Uh, so Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy stars Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd and Steve Carell and Christina Applegate and so forth, and it takes place in the '70s, and it's at a time where the anchor men were in charge. Like they were like the big stars on TV. They were like rock stars. You know what I mean? They have like these big parties. All the girls like want them. They want the whole news team and so forth. It was like it was. They said it was a time before cable. You really did see that. And Ron Burgundy, played by Will Ferrell, was like the best anchorman in all of San Diego. Like, his channel gets like the best ratings, and they get like so many fans and so forth. And it's the '70s, and during the '70s there was a time of the feminist movement. So their manager decides to bring in a female named Veronica Corningstone, who's played by Christina Applegate, into their news team, and that's what creates such a big ruckus because they're all like, "Oh no, women deserve to be in the newsroom. They deserve to be secretaries and nothing else, and so forth." So it's basically just like that sort of conflict going on and so forth. I don't want to give anything away. So this movie came out literally after Will Ferrell had just left SNL, and he'd taken Adam McKay, who was an SNL writer, with him, and Adam McKay wrote and directed the movie with Ferrell. And for me, this is without a doubt one of the funniest movies I've seen. I feel like the thing that makes Anchorman 1 work for me is the fact that it's just such a it was such a really cool, really original concept for its time. The fact that you had like this sort of over the top silly comedy in the '70s and so forth, and how had this sort of statement about you know women, about women playing a bigger role um, in news and in society and so forth. And that's the way, that's how they played it at, and that's always pretty funny. And it just it just to me, it was such a unique movie for its time. And nowadays it's still so unique, you know what I mean? It's just, but it's unique in a really nostalgic way, you know what I mean? uh and Will Ferrell's Ron Burgundy. Like, I like Will Ferrell movies. I grew up with Will Ferrell on SNL, and I like Will Ferrell movies like Step Brothers, like The Other Guys, Ricky Bobby, Stranger Than Fiction, and so forth. But for me, this is Will Ferrell's movie. This is like the definitive Will Ferrell movie. If I could pick like the best Will Ferrell movie, this is it. I just love the Ron Burgundy character because he's just so, he's such an idiot, and but he's a likable idiot, and he's just like so classy, and the stuff he says is just hilarious. Then you got Paul Rudd, who plays Brian Fantana. Brian Fantana he calls himself the stylish one in the group, in the sense that he's the ladies' man. And this for me, I will always see Paul Rudd as Brian Fantana. Like, some people will see him as Mike from Friends, and some others will see him as, oh, the dude from Role Models, the dude from I Love You Man. I will always see Paul Rudd as Brian Fantana. It's just unless Paul Rudd does something does a movie that's better than Anchorman, for me, we'll see. And then you got David Koechner, who plays Champ Kind. Champ is the crazy one. He's the one who just loves to create chaos. He loves, whenever he's at parties, he'll just do anything crazy, whether it's lighting a fire or whatever. He's nuts. And David Koechner, who was an SNL cast member like Will Ferrell, plays it so well. And then you have Brick Tamlin, played by Steve Carell. And this movie made Steve Carell a star. It was like, before then, people just seen Steve Carell as Evan from Bruce Almighty, and this movie made people like fall in love with Steve Carell. And it was literally right after Anchorman came out, they got offered the roles in 40-Year-Old Virgin and The Office and so forth. And obviously, Steve Carell is a huge star now, so there's that. And the thing about Anchorman 1, which another thing I really like, is that that you can't take this movie seriously. You just can't. I remember it was like 3 or 4 years ago. I had shown my DVD copy of Anchorman to this girl that I wanted to be my girlfriend, and we had like a movie night. I showed her Anchorman. The whole time she's like, "This is so stupid. This is so stupid," and I was just like, "Well, you can't take this movie seriously. It's meant to be stupid." Like there's a scene where Ron is talking to his dog, and you gotta buy it. Okay, it's just it's so hilarious. You just if you don't take this movie seriously, you are gonna absolutely love this movie because I don't take Anchorman seriously, and I've said it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And also there are a lot of celebrity cameos in this movie. Like I'm not gonna mention, them, but they're just it's crazy. I hope in the second one they get this many celebrity cameos. It would be it would be awesome, So yeah, Anchorman, and also the thing about Anchorman is that it's so damn quotable. Like I can quote Anchorman one line for line, scene by scene. I could just say something like, "It's Anchorman, not Anchor Lady, and that is a scientific fact. I don't know what we're yelling about." Just I just like quoting that movie like line for line, scene by scene. Just I can't help it. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy is one of the funniest movies I've seen. I love it. Every time I watch it, I laugh harder and harder and harder. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm gonna give Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy an A. I can't wait to see the second one. It looks hilarious. It's gonna come out this week, so I'll have the chance to see it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on Anchorman. So what are your thoughts on Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy? Are you excited for the sequel? What's your favorite and least favorite Will Ferrell movie? I think for me, my least favorite Will Ferrell movie would have to be Kicking and Screaming. That's just, oh god, that's a piece of shit. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Anchorman. So if you haven't already, subscribe because I need it. Like, share, whatever.